Welcome, everyone, to the best of both worlds, your hybrid home. Today, we're diving into a really interesting question about where and how we choose to live. We're asking, is it truly possible to find a quiet, natural haven while still enjoying easy access to shopping malls and essential services? Can we really achieve that elusive in-between lifestyle? Our debate today will start with opening remarks from our debaters, followed by a discussion, then rebuttals, and finally their concluding thoughts. First up, we have Thomas. Thomas is an urban planner who believes that strategic development can indeed bridge the gap, offering the best of both city convenience and natural beauty. And joining him is Layla. Layla is an environmental advocate who argues that while appealing, the in-between often compromises the very natural elements people seek, making a true balance difficult. This topic is so important for all of us, especially for students, as you think about your future homes and communities. Understanding these choices helps us build better, more sustainable lives. So let's get started. Thomas, we'll begin with your opening remarks.
Thank you, Elliot. Honestly, when we talk about the best of both worlds, I truly believe it's not just a dream, but an achievable reality through smart strategic development. Cities, by their nature, offer incredible convenience. You have easy access to everything from shopping malls to diverse services, and public transportation is usually robust. My argument is that we can extend these benefits, or at least a version of them, into areas that also embrace natural beauty. Think about well-planned suburban communities that integrate green spaces and a strong sense of community. It's about designing places where you don't have to sacrifice nature for convenience.
That's a compelling vision, Thomas. You're suggesting that with the right planning, we can indeed bridge that gap. Lila, you have a different perspective on this in-between lifestyle. What are your initial thoughts on Thomas's points?
I appreciate Thomas's optimism, but I think the reality is often a bit more complex and, frankly, a compromise. While the idea of a hybrid home sounds wonderful, what often happens is that these in-between areas, these suburbs, end up encroaching on the very natural elements people seek. We lose the truly clean air and vast green spaces of the untouched countryside, and we don't quite get the robust public transport or dense services of a true city. It can become a diluted experience, often with a significant environmental cost, like increased urban sprawl and habitat loss.
So, Lila, you're highlighting the potential for compromise and environmental impact, while Thomas, you're focusing on the potential for thoughtful design. Thomas, could you elaborate on what strategic development looks like in practice to avoid those compromises Lila mentioned?
Absolutely, Elliot. It's about mixed-use zoning, for example, where residential, commercial, and green spaces are integrated within a smaller footprint. Imagine communities designed around walkable centers, with parks and natural reserves preserved or even created within the development itself. Also, remote work plays a huge role now. People don't need to be in the absolute city center 5 days a week, allowing them to choose quieter areas that are still well connected digitally and physically, thanks to advancements like online shopping and telecommuting.
I understand the appeal of mixed-use zoning, Thomas, but even with smart designs, the sheer act of building these developments often means converting natural land. And while remote work offers flexibility, It can also contribute to urban sprawl if not managed carefully. We see people moving further out, increasing their reliance on cars for services not available locally, which then impacts air quality and natural habitats. The psychological benefits of truly green spaces with less pollution are often diminished in these hybrid zones.
That's a crucial point, Layla. So, Thomas, Layla is suggesting that even with good intentions, the expansion of these in-between areas can lead to environmental degradation. How do we ensure that our pursuit of convenience doesn't inadvertently destroy the very natural beauty we're trying to preserve?
That's a fair challenge, Layla.
The key is not just building, but building responsibly. It means prioritizing brownfield development over greenfield, for instance, reusing existing developed land. It also involves robust environmental impact assessments and setting aside significant protected natural areas within and around these communities. And honestly, the strong community ties often found in the countryside can be fostered in these new developments too, if planned correctly. It's about creating spaces that encourage interaction, not just building houses.
I agree that fostering community is important, Thomas, and brownfield development is certainly preferable. However, the scale of demand for this hybrid living often outstrips the availability of suitable brownfield sites. And even with protected areas, the fragmentation of habitats can still occur. We need to consider the long-term ecological footprint. Is it truly sustainable to constantly expand outwards, even with the best intentions, when the core benefits of true city living and true countryside living are so distinct?
This is a really insightful discussion. Thomas, you're advocating for a proactive, planned approach to create balanced communities, emphasizing smart design and the role of technology. Lila, you're raising important questions about the environmental costs and the potential for compromise, urging us to consider the true sustainability of this in-between model. It seems we're grappling with how to define balance without sacrificing core benefits, whether they be urban convenience or natural preservation. We'll delve deeper into these points after a short break. Welcome back, everyone. This has been a truly fascinating discussion on the in-between lifestyle. Now, as we approach the end of our debate, I'd like to invite each of our speakers to offer their closing remarks, summarizing their views, and leaving our audience, especially our students, with some final thoughts. Thomas, let's start with you.
Thank you, Elliot. My core argument is that the best of both worlds isn't just a pipe dream. Through strategic development, like mixed-use zoning and prioritizing brownfield sites, we absolutely can create communities that offer both urban convenience and natural beauty. The rise of remote work and advancements in digital connectivity further empower us to choose quieter, greener areas without sacrificing access to essential services. It's about smart design that fosters community and respects the environment rather than just sprawling outwards. This vision matters because it offers a path to more sustainable and fulfilling lives for future generations. So, I'd ask our audience to consider, how can we, as individuals and communities, advocate and support these kinds of thoughtful, integrated developments?
That's a powerful call to action, Thomas. Layla, what are your closing thoughts on this complex topic?
Thanks, Elliot. While Thomas's vision is appealing, I maintain that the in-between often leads to significant compromises. We risk diluting the benefits of both true city and true countryside living, often at a considerable environmental cost through urban sprawl and habitat fragmentation. My concern is that in our pursuit of convenience, we inadvertently degrade the very natural elements we cherish, impacting air quality and the long-term ecological footprint. True sustainability requires a more critical look at constant expansion. This perspective is crucial because it urges us to prioritize genuine environmental preservation and question whether our current growth models are truly sustainable. I'd like to leave everyone with this. What are we truly willing to sacrifice for the in-between, and are those sacrifices worth the long-term ecological cost?
Those are incredibly important questions, Lila. So, we've heard Thomas championing the potential for strategic, integrated development to bridge the gap, emphasizing smart design and technology. Lila, on the other hand, has urged us to consider the environmental compromises and the true sustainability of this hybrid model. Both perspectives highlight the need for thoughtful planning and a deep understanding of our impact on the world around us. To our students, I encourage you to reflect on these arguments, ask your own questions, and explore how your future choices can contribute to building better, more sustainable communities. Thank you, Thomas and Lila, for this incredibly insightful debate, and thank you all for joining us on The Best of Both Worlds, Your Hybrid Home.